The program you are about to hear is a production of the River's Edge Radio Network. The River's Edge can be heard 24 hours a day with the best in local Pittsburgh music at riversedgepgh.com. The River's Edge, your voice for local music. Enjoy the show. Saturday, April 23rd at 2 p.m. Heavy Metal Monessen 3. It's back and it's better than ever. 2 stages, that's right, not just one, but 2 stages at the Monessen City Amphitheater, and 10 bands will be performing at this great event. It's all metal, it's all outside, and it is all awesome. We are so thrilled to be involved for our 2nd year. This is Heavy Metal Monessen 3, our 2nd year involved in the event, and I am proud and very pleased to say that this year, Stage 2 will be the official River's Edge, the River's Edge stage at Heavy Metal Monessen 3. Some really fantastic bands: Cabernet Runaway, Claymore, Solar Burn, Only Flesh, all sorts of great groups, phenomenal musicians. They have really outdone themselves this year. They are going above and beyond, and we are so thrilled here at the River's Edge to be part of Heavy Metal Monessen 3. You can hear Claymore actually on this network. They're one of our bands. We're looking to add some more bands from the event. Solar Burn is very interesting. They're pretty much all instrumental, which is awesome because in today's world there are very, very few instrumental bands, so they're there. And Only Flesh, if you love guts and gore, Heather Corey, your husband, would probably enjoy Only Flesh because they modify their bodies. They put hooks in their bodies and hang themselves and do all sorts of crazy, crazy shit. So it is like a horror fan's dream. This festival is insane. Insane this year. We're so thrilled to partner up with 91.9 WCAL and Placid Promotions to bring this to you. It's going to start at 1 p.m. And it just keeps getting bigger and bigger. The longer we go on, the more and more there is to hear about this event and know about this event. We're just really elated to be there. It's awesome, and we're getting more involved this year than we were last year, and you can actually check out riversedgepgh.com, and you can find all of the interviews that we do for the event, all the information about the event. It's all right there. Welcome to River Talk. My name is Brian Crawford, broadcasting from Millville Studios, the master of the Millville Shore, with a weird show today. It's a weird show because it's very interview-heavy. We have 2 interviews, but they both were extended interviews, but that's because the conversation was so good. It was really entertaining, fun to listen to, so you definitely want to stay tuned for that. So welcome to the River's Edge, broadcasting from Millville Studios. In just a little bit, in our first hour, we're going to have Fehl, who is the station manager of 91.9 WCAL and founder of Heavy Metal Monessen. He's going to be... I joined him earlier this week. Both of the interviews were earlier this week, so if I'm wearing different clothes and you're watching the video, that's why. But yeah, Zach, I had an interesting interview with him, and he created this event 2 years ago. It's free to the public. It's a free event to go to because he wanted to expose the Mon Valley to metal music, and he wanted to bring a lot of these bands together, which he has interacted with over the years, whether it be through 91.9 or whether it be through his work with Metal Insider. He also writes for metalinsider.net, so really great guy, really interesting guy. We've had him on the show multiple times in the past, and this is weird because this is the first time where Zach will appear on River Talk where it's not a 5th Monday or 5th Sunday of the week. Every time he's been on, it's always been that extra week whenever you have a 5th Monday on the week. So this is the first time. He's breaking the mold just to break down Heavy Metal Monessen 3, so all of the information will be there. We're going to talk about WCAL's involvement, about where the festival is going, what's new to the festival, and why you should check it out. Also, new music on the River's Edge Radio Network. We have Cats in Congress They are releasing their EP coming up, so a great interview with them at the end of today's program in the second hour. And really interesting guys. They're actually from Johnstown, but they will be performing here in Pittsburgh to release their EP. And we're going to give you a sneak peek of the EP and actually play one of the songs that will be on the EP. So you get a sneak peek here, only here, on River Talk before their event, which will be at the Smiling Moose down in the south side. So lots of great stuff. Good information too. We have a Hell's Kitchen situation for the weird news, a kitchen story gone wrong, and the price of your iPhone may have just gone up. We're going to tell you a little bit about where the prices of iPhones are going in today's market. And Heather's giving you a weird look if you're... Oh, you can't see her. I don't know if you can see her face on video. When we record this, we can see the video, but it's this really small little screen, so I can't really tell if you can see her face or not. But she knows the story. The price.
Make lots of funny faces.
Yeah, she's got an iPhone, so I don't know if she's willing to pay the price for the new price for iPhones.
Yeah, I'm in the market for a new one.
We're going to get into that price, see if it's out of her price range or not. But also, Awesome Cast this week, this Tuesday. You can listen Tuesday evening. It'll be Tuesday at 7 p.m. or you can listen here at the River's Edge Radio Network 8 a.m. I, Brian Crawford, the king of the Allegheny, the master of the Millville Shore, Pittsburgh's moral compass, will make my grand appearance on Awesome Cast. I was featured on Awesome Chat before, but this time I have been bumped up to the main program Tuesday night. You can listen Tuesday night live or Thursday morning here right after Funny Money at riversedgepgh.com, powered by NJL WebTech. The Awesome Cast is a great show. It's a great technology show, and each one of the guests gets to bring up their favorite technology item of the week. So I will be sharing that with you as well. So lots of great information, but I do want to talk about a new solution that I have come to realize of a way to handle the bicycle problem in Pittsburgh. As you know, I have if you're a listener to the program, a long-time listener, you know that I have a long-standing feud with the bicyclers of Pittsburgh, the menace of the Pittsburgh roadways, the scourge of society, the people who think that they are above the law. And I don't understand their elitism, but I have found a way to possibly conquer it. There's a video, it's from the Huffington Post. I'll share it here at riversedgepgh. No, I'll share it on the Facebook page, Facebook and Twitter page. There's an ostrich that is actually tracking down bicyclers. Oh, there we go, I'm trying to scroll the page. So there's an ostrich who can run at super high speeds, and he's actually chasing cyclists down the road, giving them a piece of their business. They're letting them know. Let's see. It took place in Australia. No, okay, it's from Switzerland, but it happened in Australia. This ostrich was running at super speeds. There's a video here. It's phenomenal. It is chasing down the cyclists, and it's actually faster than the cyclists. It can take them down in one swift, foul movement. So what I want to do is I think we could train the geese of the North Shore to fend off terrible cyclists. Now, we're not talking about the cyclists on the trail who are minding their own business. We're talking about the ones splitting lanes, running lights, doing whatever the hell they want, thinking they're above the law. It's even aggravating as someone who's on a bike, because there are times that I am on a bicycle and I see them breaking the law. You know, I'm there stopping at the red light, waiting like a civilized human being, and they just run past me, run the light, and do whatever the hell they want, looking to cause accidents wherever they go. But it's amazing. These ostriches can actually pick up to pretty fast speeds. According to the post here, it says ostrich, let's see, top speed, it looks like apparently they can go 43 miles an hour, yeah, without a sweat. So an ostrich can easily take down a cyclist, but I'm thinking if you could train the geese and the pigeons of Pittsburgh to do something similar, they could actually have an air attack where they could come down. Maybe the geese can just fly over and poop as they fly over. The pigeons, you know, they're dumb anyway,
we'll
so
call
they
it
can...
an aerial release.
Yes, an aerial release, I like it. An air assault. The pigeons could fly down kamikaze style and pow! Right into a cyclist, take them out. If they see them breaking the law. Do you think this is possible we could train? You're a bird person. Do you think this is cruelty to animals, or do you think that this is... I mean, the pigeons are a menace anyways. We could knock out two problems at once.
2 birds with one stone.
Yes, 2 birds with one stone. I like it. Train the pigeons to attack the cyclists.
Well, they did train pigeons to deliver messages to men on the war front, but those were passenger pigeons.
Well, do you think we could train like
These are
the
just
green,
like the common pigeon.
the green sewer rat style pigeons of Pittsburgh?
I think they're too stupid.
What about mind control? Some MK Ultra type shit. We could train the pigeons.
It's my favorite Muse song.
What's that? I didn't know that was a Muse song.
Yes, they've it's on their one of their albums. I'm trying to remember which one. A great song though. It's my favorite.
Interesting. Yeah,
The Resistance. That's it. It's on the Resistance album.
Okay, well you know what MK Ultra originally was, right?
No, I had no idea.
Okay, it's a mind control. It was a government mind control program.
I did recently hear something. Someone did mention. I think it was on the radio or something where they mentioned MK Ultra, and I'm like, whoa.
Yeah, it's kind of creepy. Actually, there are reports that I believe, I don't know if they confirmed or suggested that that JFK's assassin was a subject of MK Ultra. So there's a lot of suspicion and conspiracy going on with all of that. But
well,
I
that
think
would make sense why Muse is singing about that.
Yes. So I think that we could train the pigeons, or at least use mind control, have them attack. Yeah, the geese. I think that would be geese are meaner, so they may actually be a better weapon.
Yes, geese would be a better weapon. They'd be able to...
They're already on the trails.
Reach up on the bike seats and nip at your bum.
Plus, they also, they're on the bike trail, so they already know who a lot of the cyclists are, so they have that memory. They can then seek out vengeance when they see them. Because, you know, the cyclists on the trail, they go into the geese's home, they, you know, disrupt their family life, so there's already this deep-seated anger that the geese could possibly have, a resentment towards the cyclists. So if they could just turn that into some form of vigilante justice, where
if you could convert somehow the idea set of food and bicycle tires, and you brainwash the geese to think that bicycle tires are food, then yes, they would be all over that.
Yeah.
Because the birds, especially the pigeons even, how we were saying, but the pigeons are probably too dumb. If we could train the pigeons to be like, hey...
Well, mind control the shit out of them. I mean, if they're that dumb, they should be easy to manipulate, right?
And, yeah, I guess so.
So mind control the hell out of them, and then...
Commercials do a good job mind controlling us.
That's true. So I'm thinking if we mind control the pigeons, they could fly in, crash right into the cyclists, only the ones breaking the law. You know, we want to differentiate the few upstanding individuals and the lawless cyclists. But it is a serious problem in Pittsburgh, and I think this ostrich story has shown us that there is a solution, a viable solution to handling the cyclist problem.
Attack with birds.
But that's a good use of birds, right? You're a bird fan,
it's a
so
good
you know...
use of birds. Birds aren't supposed to be there for use.
Everything's there for... We're people. Everything is there for our use.
But people are always thinking, what can I use this for? What can
exactly,
I make
because
it
we're
mine?
people. We're people. The world belongs to us.
Selfishness.
Well, I don't think it's selfish to want to create a judicial system that holds all people accountable and holds everybody to the same standard.
Even though it's at the mercy of birds.
Oh, they're pigeons and they're geese. We don't like those birds. Other birds we like. If it was robins, if it was sparrows, if it were doves,
the common sparrow,
I would be
a nuisance.
Yeah, but not nearly to the level of the geese.
No, or the pigeon.
And the geese carry diseases, and the pigeons are mean and nasty, and they attack each other and attack people and attack little children. Are you saying that you don't like children? Are you anti-little children?
Yes.
Okay. Then how does that work with you? Because your husband's into childcare. I'm curious how that works. Here it is. Heather Nevills, Chief Meteorologist Heather Nevills,
like
hater of children. Hater of children, right here.
I don't understand children. I was once a child, but I don't understand anything about children.
Anti-children, hater of children. despising babies. See,
apparently I relate more with birds.
What's that? Yeah, apparently you do. You relate more to birds. Hating of people, hating of children.
I think you're turning this into a whole nother issue.
I don't think so. I think that you're making this leap. You're making this connection. All I want to do is hold cyclists accountable and
by saying I hate children.
Well, you're the one who said it. I'm just pointing it out. So.
Right.
Yes.
Right.
Up next, we got a song. We have The Existential Gentleman, and then we're going to bring in Mr. Mike McMullen with your political update here on the River's Edge Radio Network.
Hi, this is Zach Fehl, the station manager of WCAL, and I'm here to tell you about an upcoming event being sponsored by WCAL, the River's Edge Radio Network, and Placid Promotions. WCAL is proud to be sponsoring Heavy Metal Monessen 3, a free-to-the-public music and arts festival being held at the Monessen City Park Amphitheater on Saturday, April 23rd. This year's lineup features some of the best heavy music Pittsburgh has to offer, including Revival Recordings artist Cabaret Runaway, as well as Solarburn, Claymore, Only Flesh, Tartarus, Old Lords, Shadow of Corvus, and more. The festival is set to kick off at 1 p.m. on Saturday, April 23rd. Be sure to follow 919 WCAL and the River's Edge Pittsburgh on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram to keep up to date with the latest festival information and artistic news. Stay metal.
Welcome back to River Talk on the River's Edge Radio Network. We have with us right now our political commentator, Mike McMullen, who is just got done with dinner. Mike, how are you?
Good. How are you, Ryan?
Doing well, thank you. It's been a crazy week in the national national scene, hasn't it?
Well, yeah, yes, I agree, and I think we can probably forgo the state and local because let's just get right to the meat of the matter. It's been interesting times, and I think it's only going to get more interesting come Tuesday.
Yeah, people are going off, and this kind of boggles my mind. People are basically saying that at the Donald Trump rallies, he's knocking other people's First Amendment rights. I don't understand where the First Amendment says you can go in and interrupt someone else's event and hijack the stage and things like that. To me, that's about peaceful protesting, which can be done outside, holding a sign. It's not ramming up stage and kind of taking over. Am I wrong?
Well, no, Brian, good point. Good points and good observation. Look, at the end of the day, and I think it was a mistake. Well, not a mistake. I think it was done very tactfully, and also maybe to get some PR on the Trump campaign. But that's just my own little satirical spin on it to pick downtown Chicago and Cook County of all places. But look, it was proven that MoveOn.org, George Soros, all those left-wing groups were paid protesters to crash the event, crash the stage, crash the party, so to speak. And the thing is, if Trump runs the table, which he probably should and will on Tuesday, you're going to have more crowds like that. And if you go to ABC city or a very big urban city, you're going to have that. Not saying you can't have that here in anywhere in rural America or Peoria, Illinois, or Dubuque, Iowa, or Springfield, Missouri, or let alone the State College, Pennsylvania, or Johnstown. You're going to have those kind of radical left people who want to disrupt things, cause havoc, cause chaos. And on the flip side, when you have Kasich, Rubio, and Cruz not denouncing that and saying, "Oh, Trump is the cause of those," out of his tone, his language, that's a bunch of bullshit. I mean, anybody should have condoned those protesters, and I hate to say it, it's only going to get worse.
Yeah. Now, I mean, the old man who sucker punched the kid who was on his way out, I mean, that's just as bad. It seems like there's craziness on all sides, but I don't really see how you can blame the Donald for the protests. I don't know. He's just there. I mean, he's come out against the violence as well. So
exactly. I mean, he condoned it. I mean, give credit to the Secret Service and law enforcement and his detail and protecting him. But I'll tell you, it's only going to get worse. And I can tell you, if I'm fortunate enough to win to be a delegate to the National Convention in Cleveland in mid-July, it's going to be pretty damn ugly.
So what else is going on the national scene outside of the crazy protests and rallies? What else has been going on?
Well, I mean, if you really look at it, I mean, obviously it is Super Tuesday coming up in less than 48 hours. Rubio is going to get crushed in Florida. I mean, they're saying even Ted Cruz may beat him. Depending on what poll you look at, in Ohio, it's Trump. It's Trump. Trump is Trump and Kasich, and if Rubio loses his home state, and if Kasich loses his home state, which Real Clear Politics is a pretty accurate polling firm, as well as there's a lot of other credible ones out there as well. But it's going to be down to a two-person race. And people say, "Oh well, Ted Cruz won in Wyoming yesterday, and Rubio won in D.C." Oh, okay, great. No disrespect to any state at all, but you go where the votes are. And at the end of the day, I mean, Trump is going to have a commanding lead in the delegate count. He's up about 120 or 130. For example, in delegate count, he could be up close to 300 plus, if not more. I mean, well, not 300 plus. I mean, he's right now got about 450. He could end up with probably maybe 400 delegates on Tuesday. Now, is it over then? No. But, in a two-way race, I mean, if he's got at least a 300 or 400 lead, I don't see how Ted Cruz catches him. Is it going to be game, set, match on Tuesday? No. I mean, it's not going to be the knockout blow. The knockout blow will be when any candidate reaches 1237. If they reach 1237, it's over. It's game, set, match. It will carry on into mid to late March, maybe early April, but it should be over by early April. Now, the Democratic side, I've seen some polls, that Bernie is up in Missouri and Illinois and Ohio. So, I mean, it's going to be very interesting. I can only imagine if it's a Trump-Bernie general election. I mean, it's going to be left of left and, business versus socialism. But what's really scary, and the more stuff you see, is the college age, 18 to 30, or more 18 to early 20s, who are just diehards about Bernie Sanders. I mean, they're more diehard, they're more committed than I think they were than when Obama was around in 2012. So it's going to be interesting. I mean, it shouldn't be a late night. I think everything should be over by 11 or 12 unless they find a lot of votes in Cook County and Chicago, which it doesn't surprise me because it's a very corrupt city. I mean, heck, if you got to turn on the news, there are probably at least 5 murders in the last 5 times. Last 5 minutes we've talked. But I think it should be a two-way race between Cruz and Trump come Tuesday, and the burn is keeping Hillary on her toe.
He may actually come out and come close to winning this thing because all of her, where she won and got her early lead was in the deep South. All of the northern cities, which is pretty much what's the majority of what's left, he seems to be doing much better in those areas than he does down in the southern states.
Well, if it's any indication of what he did in Michigan, in the upper Midwest, Ohio, Illinois, I mean, you really can't throw Missouri in the upper Midwest, but Midwestern part of the state, lower Midwest, there's some telltale signs. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens. And you know what? I don't know what's more exciting to watch. I get excited for both in the sense of the NCAA basketball tournament. Or the political or the political aspect. So the analogy is it is March Madness. We will know more come Tuesday, and you look at if you look at to be applicable to the state level. I've seen some polls while Trump is at the top of the ticket. He helps all down ballot Republicans to get more voters out and so forth. And if you just recently saw in the last 72-hour news cycle, like this past week, 46,000, not 4,000, not 400, 46,000 Democrats have switched to the Republican Party out of the 67 counties in Pennsylvania. That is unprecedented. Wow. Now, the argument is it's called ditch and switch, where Democrats do it to vote for a certain candidate, and so forth. But normally people will do that in a small election for a state rep seat or state senate race. But when you have 46,000 statewide, That's a lot. Normally it's, several thousand, but not 46,000.
Sure.
Now, whether they all jump back to support Hillary or Bernie, I don't really think so, because at the end of the day, even the polls in Pennsylvania have Trump up over Cruz by almost 15 points. So, it's going to be interesting.
Mike, I read an interesting article in Time magazine that mentioned that the Republican Party has, in a way, destroyed itself and allowed Trump to come to his rise here. And they made some interesting points in this magazine, and Trump is very different than Ronald Reagan, and in some ways that's not a bad thing. I think Republicans put too much emphasis on Reagan. Yeah, he was a great president, but come up with some new ideas. This is a different time. And that's one thing that they mentioned in this article, that the Republicans have somewhat killed themselves because they're so focused on implementing Reagan-specific policies instead of Reagan-like thinking, where you have to come up with new common-sense solutions to answers. And I think that's why a lot of times people are rebelling against this establishment. And in many ways, Trump is the antithesis of Reagan in the way that he talks, his vernacular. Reagan was very fluid in his speech, and he was able to kind of calm the waters almost, whereas Trump really seems to incite a fire under the Republican Party.
Well, Brian, good points and good observations is that, look, I mean, the Republican Party's created their own mess. I mean, everybody said, okay, give us the House. We got to win back the Senate. We win back the Senate in 2014, and we did. And what the hell have they done? Nothing. No. I mean, they've gotten some measures through. I mean, honestly, I know my politics, but I can't think off the top of my head of what major piece of legislation that they've crafted and passed and enabled. I mean, and ultimately, I mean, there's a lot of senators in trouble, including our own U.S. Senator Pat Toomey, and you got Portman in trouble in Ohio. You've got definitely trouble Kirk in Illinois, and Ron Johnson up in Wisconsin. So you've got, those are four senators. Oh, and the other female senator, Kelly Annette, the New Hampshire female senator. So you got serious trouble, on the Senate side. But my argument is that I think Trump really helps the Senate, because I think he can bring down a lot of coattails. Look, I've been a firm believer all the time, every time, that everybody needs a seat at the table in the Republican Party. If you're pro-choice, pro-life, okay, personally, we can agree to disagree on that issue. But if you're with us on jobs and taxes and the economy and some other issues, everybody needs a seat at the table. But a lot of people in the party say, oh, well, if you're pro-choice or pro-life or anti-gay marriage and so forth and all that, we don't want you. No, it doesn't work like that. Everybody needs a seat at the table, because that's how we expand their base. And if you look at what Trump's done, can anybody explain how big his rallies are? And did you see Cruz having 30,000 people? No. I mean, so the Trump phenomenon has brought, I think it's good, I think it's healthy, and I think it's going to carry over into Tuesday. And, we live in interesting times, and I think that Time article is relevant that if the power elites and the power brokers have tried to steal the nomination away from Trump, and if it does go to a broker convention, which I highly, highly don't think will happen, but if it does, Trump is going to take all his people, and I'll predict it, but other major political people or commentators will predict that Trump will run as a third party candidate, or whatever party or whatever, and he'll come in second place over the Republican if they handpick somebody. I'm convinced of that. I
agree.
That won't short a Democratic president for sure.
Sure, and as I told you last week, Mike, and I'm sure there's other people with the same mindset as I am, and not that I really want Trump as president. I actually, I try to stay unbiased, especially in my position, but I do think it's important to let the voters decide, and if the Republican establishment decides that they are going to take away the right of their party members to vote for their representative, then I'll never vote for that party again. And I think there's a lot of people who have that same mindset. Why in the hell would I support a party that doesn't even respect its own base?
Well, I agree, and you know, and recently I think it was like last Friday or Saturday, or no, it was sometime this week if I recall, that Karl Rove and about five to eight U.S. senators and top congressmen and all these billionaires flew off to I forget the name of the island. It's off the Savannah coast. That they flew to some private resort, you know, like 50 billionaires to try to stop Trump. Well, is it really working? I mean, all the negative ads in Michigan, you know, all the money. I mean, the thing is, if he runs the table on Tuesday, I don't know how anybody's going to catch him or stop him.
Yeah,
I really
agree.
don't.
All right, Mike, thank you. Anything else
Okay,
for us?
Brian. Nope, that's all. Have a good weekend. I'll talk to you next week.
You too. Catch you then.
Bye-bye.
All right, that was Mike McMullen with our political news. Our weird story for this week is a kitchen nightmare. It's a kitchen nightmare that dealt with an assault in the kitchen. And as you know, many of you have roommates, right? Roommates who don't do the dishes, don't clean up, or you have that guy at work who just will not do their job. Well, the Butler Eagle reports 26-year-old Joseph Parker faces a hearing March 28th for an assault over dishes. An assault over dishes where he literally grabbed a skillet and kept hitting this gentleman, 23-year-old Randy Fencermarker, until the skillet actually broke. The gentleman, Randy, he suffered a concussion and a swollen lip and a cut on his face. So, yes, a kitchen nightmare. Hell's Kitchen. Up next, we're going to bring in Zach Fehl, station manager and founder of Heavy Metal Monessen, station manager of WCAL 91.9. He's going to talk about Heavy Metal Monessen and more. So all of that. But up next, we have Claymore, a song from Claymore, and then we're going to get into Zach Fehl. And then after that, Talion, One Man War. And then the price of your iPhone just went up. We're going to bring you that. Your weekly weather forecast with Chief Meteorologist Heather Nevills. And don't forget, Tuesday night, 7 p.m., and Thursday morning at 8 a.m., I, the master of the Millvale Shore, Brian Crawford, will appear on Awesome Cast. So stay tuned for that, all that, and more on the River's Edge Radio Network.
Get your weekly weather forecast every Monday morning on River Talk at 6 a.m. with me, meteorologist Heather Nevills, broadcasting from Millville Studios on the River's Edge Radio Network.
My current guest is the founder of Heavy Metal Monessen. It's now Heavy Metal Monessen 3, Saturday, April 23rd at the Monessen City Park Amphitheater. 3 years, still going strong. Zach Fehl, the station manager of WCAL, across the table from me. So, yeah, we've got a nice little camera now. This is the first time I think you've been in this studio with video.
The first time that I've seen, first time I've had the camera on me here.
Yeah, so kind of creepy, huh?
It's not creepy. I just get really odd on video.
Kind of see yourself. You could see yourself in the video as we're recording. So.
I always come off super awkward on video, so that hopefully doesn't hurt.
This is weird too because this is the first time Zach has been a reoccurring guest on River Talk. There's a few different times you've been on, but this is the first time that you've been on the program where it wasn't the 5th Monday or 5th Sunday of the month. So, it's kind of going into new uncharted territory here.
I'm here on a normal day.
Yeah, this is a normal River Talk day. Because before we used to have everything set up, if you are an early listener to River Talk, you'll know that everything was, we had monthly guests. And it was very, there was the first Monday of the month, the second Monday of the month, the third, the fourth, and you would always have the same guest each month. Now, there would be different interviews and things like that, but there would always be that consistency. That kind of went to the wayside, but during that time you were here and you were always on the 5th Monday.
The odd day of the month.
The odd day of the month, yes.
I dig it. I'm fine with that.
Yeah, so Heavy Metal Monessen, it's back for year 3, and it's bigger than ever. I'm excited. It's going to be a good time. Last year we were involved a little bit. This year we're all in. All of the cards are on the table. and it's going to be a great thing for the River's Edge Radio Network. We're really excited to be a member of it, and it's our second year involved, but it's actually WCAL's first year, which is kind of funny because
First official.
you've been involved since obviously the beginning. You started it. You are the now station manager of WCAL, so talk about WCAL's involvement, how that's going to help the festival, and where do you think that's going to move the festival, and why now? Why is this the first year that we're jumping in?
There are 2 or 3 really important points, I guess, to all of those questions. How they've been involved in the past. I basically book it like we would do a remote broadcast, like when we go out in public and play music and jam and, annoy the public with our love of music.
Mm-hmm.
They were involved in that way, so they would show up, play music between the bands.
Okay.
So it was still kind of a presence there, but never like an official sponsorship, never like an official partnership. It was just they were just one of the smaller aspects of the festival.
Sure. But that makes it a big difference, though, because there is one thing, I hate when you go to a show or you go to a festival and there's 20, 30 minutes of just nothing.
Between the bands.
Yes.
And just nothing going on. So, well, what do we do now? Well, we leave.
Stand there and look at each other. Yeah.
Why would we want to interact with each other? We're there at a
well,
festival.
That's true. That's why we have phones.
So that's kind of how they've been involved in the past. This year, we were able to actually get a full, sponsorship. They are, I guess just we deemed it a good for the station just to get more involved with the local musical communities.
Mm-hmm.
And Monessen is right in our broadcast range.
Yes.
A lot of the bands, some of them are local, and they have made appearances on the radio. We've interviewed some of them before. Some of them have submitted their music, and we've played it on the air before. So perfect overlap of just what we are currently doing and how we can interact with our target audience, which is our, the local music fans.
Mm-hmm.
We're gonna be doing interviews on my show every Sunday night from 6 to 10 p.m. Usually up until then, I still have to schedule them because I'm lazy.
Well, what's awesome about that is between that show and River Talk Monday morning, you could just, if you're an overnighter, you could just stay up, start your day with the currently untitled metal show on 91.9 WCAL, and then you can wake up to River Talk. How long has it? I mean, we say currently, but how long does currently last? Because I think it's currently been untitled for quite a few years, right?
It has been untitled since I first started it. And when did I started it in the spring of... this is my second semester at Cal. I started in the fall of 12, because it was a year after I graduated. So spring of 13. Spring of 2013. So it is going on. Holy cow, we just had our 3-year anniversary.
There we go. Woo!
3 years of untitled metal goodness. I don't know. I'm working on a title. I think I got something I think I might like, and I think the fans will really enjoy.
You've only got a couple months left to get that going?
The name will be unveiled when it's time to unveil it.
Okay. Is it gonna be like your last day before you graduate that you're gonna release it?
No, none of that. No,
none of that. Okay.
No. Don't tune in Sunday nights from 6 to 10 p.m. over the next couple months, because they're my last couple months. Do it because I play good music.
That's right.
And that I might finally title my metal show.
There we go. So, down the stretch. So, yeah, no, but I think it's exciting. WCAL is involved, and I think it definitely adds more, it creates more of an opportunity for promotion for the festival as well, because
for
people...
everyone. It's going to be mutually beneficial. Station's going to benefit because obviously we're going out and being public to our market. We're going out and interacting with our fans. We're going out and getting involved with local bands and spreading music for, free.
Mm-hmm.
We're going on putting on a free show because we love music. It's what we do. It's kind of the thing we should be doing. And the festival benefits because it's more promotion. It's having an actual physical name on it instead of me just putting mine. As much as I love to talk myself up, I would much rather be working behind the scenes than letting the organization take the credit, I guess, as it goes. And I think it's going to be a great partnership for everyone. We're happy to have the River's Edge involved. You know, we have worked together for the last couple of years.
Yes.
And getting a really big chance to do it now, I think is the culmination of everything, at least I've been working for the last couple of years.
Yeah, and it's been great for us because now that we, last year when we got involved, it was more of a podcast situation, and now we've transitioned into a 24-hour radio network, so we have more opportunities to promote the event, and it's great for us because the River's Edge is the only station in Pittsburgh that's 100% local music, local original music, so it's definitely a great blend for us as well to be involved in an event like this. And speaking of the event, what is new to the event this year? I know there's some change-ups, there's some new bands in the mix. There's a lot of really well-known bands as well, and of course we have the bulwarks of the festival, such as Claymore, who's back for the third year. They've been
glad to have them back.
Yeah, they've been there since the beginning. So yeah, tell us a little bit about what's new, what we can expect, what is on deck at Heavy Metal Monessen 3.
The very first thing that I think is going to be the biggest aspect of it that me and Jonathan we threw this around for a while. He proposed the idea months ago, way before we even started talking about the festival, before we even started looking at bands. He said, and this is over Facebook, so obviously not in any sort of manner like this, and I'm going to paraphrase it. I want to do a second stage.
Yes.
I was like, oh, okay. How? We're going to get the equipment, and we're going to have 2 stages. There's pavilions up in the park that would be perfect, and I want to do it. I was like, well, okay. Do you know how? Yeah, we got to get the system for it. Okay. If you can get the system, if this is physically possible for us to actually go out and get a second stage so that we can alternate and have smoother transitions and ultimately get more bands, go for it, dude. I was all for it. I loved it. So because of that, we were able to extend the number of bands playing. Last year we had 6, all on the amphitheater. And this year we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. We have 10 bands playing.
10 bands, nice.
So only 2 of them have played in the past. Claymore and Italian, both local Pittsburgh bands. Well, they're all local Pittsburgh bands.
Yes.
And so that's not new. I mean, we haven't branched out yet. We're still sticking to the locals.
But you know what? I like that. See, that's what I like about this festival, because there's so much local talent in Pittsburgh. And that's one thing that we try to push here at riversedgepgh.com, that there is this talent there. It's great. I mean, I get these songs stuck in my head throughout the day. And people don't always realize that. It's amazing for the amount of talent that we have in the Pittsburgh area that people don't even realize it's out there.
I don't think I realized it either until, I don't know, maybe last year. When we had the festival going on.
Why is it so hard to find? Because I feel like if you're looking at all, it's just in your face.
It might not be too hard to find. I really don't think it's hard to go out and see that there are a ton of Pittsburgh bands out there. There's a ton of talent. Obviously, we're bringing a bunch of it. We've done it for 3 years. And I think it's just people don't know to look. If you're not actively looking for local Pittsburgh talent, what's going to differentiate the bands for you? So we're trying to stick. I mean, I was born and raised in Carnegie, not too far out of Pittsburgh. Still go to Cal. A lot of our bands and our DJs and the people that I interact with are local and interact with in the community. And it I don't know, kind of seemed like a no-brainer. Let's highlight what we have here.
Sure.
We're a little bit out of the way. We're about an hour out of the city, but let's bring that talent to us.
It's right down 79, though. It's not hard to get to. It's for those of you who live in the city who were on the fence about going down, just get in your car and drive down 79. It's what, a half-hour drive without traffic? I mean, it's not bad.
I don't know the actual math.
The way I drive, it's a half hour.
The way you drive. The way most Pittsburghers drive.
Yeah, it's not bad. And honestly, going down south of the city, it's one of the nicer drives, as long as you can get through the Fort Pitt tunnels, which that may sway some people just in and of itself. But if you can get through the Fort Pitt tunnels, it's a straight shot down 79, then you hit 79 to 70, and you're there. It's...
How would I do it? If I was leaving from home, I'd take 79 towards Washington.
Yeah.
There, you jump on 70. 70
Don't take 51.
I cannot advocate taking 51.
No, we're 79, yeah.
So 79 to 70, and 70 will run you straight there.
Yeah.
That'll take you right to the Monessen exit. It's two highways. It's
an easy drive.
Yeah, it's an easy drive.
It's a pleasurable drive. So you can actually...
I would not give it that, but...
It's a pleasurable drive. You put on your salesman hat here. I'm trying to help you out. It's a pleasurable drive. It's a great Saturday morning driving down to Monessen. Beautiful trees, beautiful highway, open roads.
If the weather this year is like it was last year, it was, I don't know, a nice 70, not overcast, not too sunny. We had tons of trees for for our own shade. I mean, it's a beautiful amphitheater. And I will put my salesman hat on. I'm not going to lie to the people out there. I don't like driving on 70, but,
it's not the worst.
It is
not
definitely
the worst.
Not the worst.
So Zach Fehl of 91.9 WCAL and founder of Heavy Metal Monessen going into Heavy Metal Monessen 3, Saturday, April 23rd at the Monessen City Park Amphitheater. Who's performing at the event?
This year, we have, as our headliners, recently signed, just started touring. So they got signed to Revival Recordings. We have Cabaret Runaway. If I'm correct, they're a part of the network already.
We're working on it.
Working on it. All right. Well, you'll get a chance when we see them.
Yeah. They're interested. We just have to get together. The problem with this network is we have to meet everybody, so it's sometimes it takes a little bit longer.
Been working with those guys for a while. Kyle Pertel and Andrew Dinger, the guitarist and frontman, respectively, both went to Cal. They both graduated through their commercial music technology degree. And so I knew them as students. We were friends at college, and we wanted to get them to play last year. And it was 2 days before the announcement. We were all ready to go. Flyer was made, ready to announce on like a Friday. And we were getting ready to announce on the Sunday. I was back at home on work on Friday.
Mm-hmm.
And I get a very unfortunate text message that they had a member of the band leave.
Oh, wow.
2 days before we were going to announce. I'm just like, oh, God, what do we do? We have everything else set up. But fortunately, things have been working out. And, we're glad to have them on. They just finished their first U.S. tour with Alisana and I Wrestled a Bear Once last November.
Mm-hmm.
So super happy to have them on board. Bunch of other Pittsburgh either growing or good bands. We have Solar Burn.
They're very instrumental.
Very instrumental.
Which I like.
We saw them at the Hard Rock.
We did, and actually I just was talking to one of their band members. His name escapes me at the moment, but apparently that was the only time they've ever played there.
Huh.
So we actually saw an original that
exclusive.
night. Yeah, an exclusive at the Hard Rock. But no, and I love that because there's so many bands, like, not that I'm anti-vocals, I'm not, but there's so much you could do with instrumentation that is just abandoned in a lot of music today. So I like to see a band that sometimes that'll embrace that a little bit, and I think that's one of the cool things about them.
Solar Burns, they're a lot of fun. They're very cool. They put on a great performance. Definitely better live than recorded, which I like. That is one of the biggest compliments I think I can give a band, when I can say that their live music and their live performance and their live sound transcends what they have gotten down recorded.
Mm-hmm.
But to me, that's a compliment coming from me. We then have, as we mentioned earlier, Claymore. They're coming back for their third time. They were our headliners the first year when we were just kind of putting our feet in the water, just getting, how does one music festival, how does one book show?
Mm-hmm.
I had no clue. I had absolutely no idea what I was doing, and I still kind of don't, but keep that under wraps. But glad to have them back.
You seem to muddle your way through. So.
Yeah. I keep everyone in the loop. I try my best. As I do as good as a college student can.
You do a pretty good job. Well,
I like to think so. But having them back, they've gone through a couple lineup changes recently.
mm-hmm.
Their original bassist Jesse, graduated college and got an adult job. I think he was like an engineer or something. He was going for engineering. Wow. Yeah, he had prospects of above being in a band, but they're going to be coming back. Glad to have them on. They're always good live. I just saw them. They performed at a Battle of the Bands at Cal maybe 2-3 weeks ago.
Okay.
It was a lot of fun. Good seeing them out, at least playing again now that they've got a new bassist and can do shows. Then we've mentioned Jonathan. He's coming to play with another one of his bands this year, Only Flesh. Dirty, nasty punk metal. It's hard to describe.
Some people need to cover their eyes watching Only Flesh. It's really good music.
If
very
you might
entertaining.
need to. They put on a great live show. If you're a big fan of Rob Zombie and the shock rock theatrics.
If you're a big fan of gory horror,
yes,
then Only Flesh would be a good band to check out.
If you're a fan of gore, I'm keeping them. They've got a couple restrictions if they play, because I personally do not like blood and skewers. I am squeamish.
Uh-huh.
The metalhead, yeah, but there are some things that we've approved that. I don't know. I hate the idea of telling a band, no, you can't do that.
Mm-hmm.
But doing a family festival, trying to keep things somewhat reasonable, and I will not clean up blood.
Yeah.
I like to think that everyone will clean up after themselves and make no mess and cause no problems whatsoever. But history dictates otherwise. And
trust me.
If I end up having to clean, but. They're going to be doing some cool stuff. They're going to be capping off the night at the end. And we've got a couple surprises that I am not allowed to talk about that they might be doing, and you might want to stay till the end to see.
Okay.
So there's that. Moving on, we have Tartarus. They're another local band. Wow, why do I keep catching myself with that. They're all local bands. They're all Pittsburgh bands.
Yes.
They're all...
That's what's great about it.
The marketer in me. I'm trying to describe things, and I'm realizing that descriptor works for all of them. Okay. Tartarus, definitely one of the heavier ones on the group, on the billing. They are, and I don't expect you to exactly know what this means, but for anyone out there, they're kind of like a black and death metal band.
Mm-hmm.
If you're familiar with Behemoth, things along those lines. Very cool. We had they have a connection to Cal U too. Their drummer, Brian Smith, also graduated from Cal U with a CMT degree, and one of his bands played last year. He played with the opener Kill Orion.
Okay, nice.
And when Jonathan and his band, the Existential Gentlemen, went on to play, we needed a sound guy. I was panicking, who's gonna do sound when our sound guy's playing? Went over to him, I was like, hey, what degree did you get from Cal? I know you graduated. Music, CMT? Yes, good. Can you run sound? Cool, get on the board. We need you. And worked out great, and super glad his other band's able to come play this year. So Tartarus is going to be cool. I've not gotten to see them yet, but they have a album release show coming up. Oh, and it escapes me. It is this month. It is later this month. It is, I want to say the 23rd or the 26th.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know off the top of my head, and I don't want to confuse it.
We'll get them in studio. We'll make that happen.
I
Make that happen, promoter. Get them in studio. We'll promote the release.
Make it happen. Okay. I'll talk to Brian. Another one that we have on. I'm actually not too familiar with these guys. These are an addition on Jonathan's pick. They are called Old Lords. I want to say they're more of a sludgy doom metal type band, but I'm not super familiar with these guys, and a little ashamed to admit it, but I check out all the bands, but it is sometimes I just have to take a bit of a backseat on certain decisions because I know that Jonathan knows well too.
Sure.
So we're both informed. We both know what'll work well and what'll go on a good show. So I don't have much to say about these guys because I haven't seen them, but Jonathan vouched for them, and well, they're on the bill, so obviously it's got to be pretty good.
Yeah.
Another one of the local Cal U talent we have. Shadow of Corvus. They are a solo project of another CMT student.
Okay.
This is a recurring theme here. The CMT degree.
You know, it's
Cal.
interesting with Cal because we actually have some bands that are on our network that aren't metal bands that are from Cal. There's a lot of music that comes out of Cal U. It's weird because they don't have the most well-known music program, but there's still a lot of like phenomenal music that comes out of it. I guess it's a quality program. It's not the most well-known, but clearly the quality's there.
I agree with that entirely.
So we've got Jonathan Bazzuti here tonight. There's a few bands that we have that come out of Cal.
I was just at that Battle of the Bands on campus a couple weeks ago, and there were 4 or 5 just different Cal U bands. Most of them I'd never heard of. They didn't include here tonight. They didn't include some of the other ones, and I don't know if it's just the school breeding it or if this program that they have, I know it's pretty new. I know it's definitely within the last 10 years.
Yeah.
Just added into the school. And they're doing something right because there is some really good, really talented people out there. They're either playing the shows out in Pittsburgh, if they're not playing them, they are recording the artists, or they are engineering the sound, like the live sound of the show. And there's just a lot of talent coming out of there right now, at least in my eyes. My completely biased opinion.
I agree. And I hear music from all over, especially working here at this station. And it's amazing. You look at Point Park University, for example. They have their own record label, Pioneer Records. Yeah. And then you look at Cal, and I feel like Cal's putting out just as much good content as Point Park.
I should look and starting a record label out of Cal.
Yeah. I mean, that's what they do. It's only for, I believe it's only for Point Park students. I know it's run by the university. And, so it's out there. The college music scene is really, college musicians in the college music scene, that's really on the rise. And I just think it's fascinating that Cal is in the mix with that, despite the program being so new. And
it's new, we're out of the city, but it's where there's a lot of talent coming from right now.
Yeah.
So I love it. But I'm a music person, so obviously I'm gonna love it.
Sure. Real quick, I just want to touch on a couple other things. Placid Promotion, they talk about their involvement with the festival.
That would come from Jonathan. He works heavily with them. They were one of the promoters from last year that they got involved, and they helped spread the word quite a lot. Most of their work is, at least from what I've seen, social media based. But I'm going to vouch for it as a marketing student. I'm going to say that social media is one of the most important things that we use to get the word out.
Well, it's so affordable, too. I look at just, we had that one-year party. You were in attendance, so thank you for that. But at the one-year party, I was able to pack the place, and I spent maybe $60 on Facebook ads, and that was the extent of it. There was no, promos anywhere else. There were no... we didn't even have a drop on the network. We didn't even get that because I was just running around trying to do so many different things. So literally Facebook is what packed the place. So social media it's paramount.
It's something that I have started to I've had to look at seriously. I have been using social media since MySpace years ago. Years ago, when I was a little snot-nosed little brat that probably shouldn't have had one, and the utilitarian aspects of it are great. I love that, I don't want to say spam my friends, because I try to keep it out. I try to keep it out. For those who don't, care, I'm not going to be spamming them with invites, sending them all, hey, check it out. I know you don't care, but check it out. I know my audience, and a lot of them connect and stay in touch via Facebook. You know, we interact in musical groups, local Pittsburgh groups, local musicians. We share our projects, and you know how easy it is to make a flyer and just, hey, make all the bands share this. All the bands share it. All their fans see it. All the members share it. All their family, friends, fans, they all see it. It's so easy to... I can't make you go into your date book, go into your calendar, and add my concert.
Sure.
But if you see my event, you go in, you hit interested, you will be notified about it sometime in the future. And it's a little reminder. It's something real simple, but that cost me $0. And as a broke college student, $0 is right within my budget.
It's always right there. Yes.
It is right about in there, what I can afford. So it's been huge for us. Obviously, going to be working with CUTV and some of the other Cowie media to help get the word out. You know, we're gonna do it the old-fashioned way, handing out flyers and handbills, and the new-fashioned way, hitting up Facebook and Twitter, and the medium-fashioned way where I go to newspapers.
There we go. All right, Zach. Looking forward to it. Check that out. It's going to be April 23rd, Saturday, Heavy Metal Monessen 3. You can hear interviews with different bands all the way leading up to the event on River Talk Extra, and the currently untitled Metal Show, which you can hear Sunday nights.
From 6 to 10 p.m.
Yes.
You can listen live at 91.9 FM, or you can go to our website, sai.cau.edu/WCAL, and listen live.
Or you can go with the easier link that I use, wcal.cau.edu.
If that one, I know the official one.
It does work, yes.
Go to Google, type in CAU WCAL or WCAL Radio. Go to TuneIn, type in WCAL. We come up.
Yes, we're both on TuneIn, so you can find both stations right there on TuneIn Radio. And so definitely check that out. Sunday evenings, check out River Talk. You're listening now, Monday mornings. But also check out the River Talk Extras Friday mornings after Geiks Got Game at 8 a.m. That's Zach Fehl, founder of Heavy Metal Monessen, station manager at 91.9 WCAL. I'm Brian Crawford on the River's Edge Radio Network.
Hi, this is Tom from There You Are, and you're listening to the River's Edge Radio Network, broadcasting from Millvale Studios.
The price of your iPhone may have just gone up thanks to a man in China who was arrested and sentenced to 3 years in jail after using social media to try and sell his 18-month-year-old daughter in order to acquire an iPhone. So I guess he was able to sell the baby for what would equate to $3,535 in United States currency. This is according to WPXI Pittsburgh. So Heather, you're in the market for an iPhone. Is the price too steep?
Enough to sell children?
Are you willing to sell a young child?
No.
For your iPhone? No. What price? What is
Even though that I stated earlier that I don't like children.
You don't like children, but you're unwilling to sell one.
I'm unwilling to sell my children.
Well, why is that? If you don't like children anyways, wouldn't that just get
it'd be different and be my child.
I see, your child's okay, but other people's children. Oh, okay, I see.
Listen, you don't know how people raise their kids these days. It's horrendous.
Well, that's true. I mean, hell, there's...
Spoil the crap out of the poor child.
We were just at
they
the
don't
bar.
know how to fend for themselves.
We were just at the bar before recording this show, and there was a child at the bar, so I guess I can see your point. Why do people bring... I know I've talked about this before, but why bring your child to a brewery or a bar? At that point, maybe you should be considering selling your child for an iPhone, because clearly you're not fit to be a parent. Like, why are you bringing your kid to the bar?
Babysitters are expensive.
It's crazy. There's a woman in Brownsville who's actually competing with the baby salesman for Parent of the Year. She's facing cyberbullying charges and other charges after posting nude pictures of her son's ex-girlfriend all over Facebook.
Oh,
all over Facebook.
People.
Nude pictures. I don't know, maybe she thought she was hot.
I shouldn't even be surprised. That's like child pornography.
It is, actually. That is true. She could probably be charged with that.
That's child pornography. She should go to jail for like...
Well, this is alleged. You know, who knows what, if she did it or somebody else. It's hard to say.
Well, yeah,
when it comes to Facebook.
It says child pornography. I'm like, well, Yeah, 12-year-old girl.
Yeah, it's
That's
crazy.
horrible. I would have, even a parent.
You have to be well, you also have to be careful on social media in general, because if somebody else gets on your account, you could still get in trouble for what somebody else does.
Oh, yeah.
So,
I
don't know, social media, I hate social media. If it wasn't for this business, I probably would get off of it.
Well, it's a double-edged sword at times. It's like you need social media to stay active, to stay out there, especially in this business.
Yeah.
To promote. This is how you promote when you're in this kind of business.
Oh, absolutely.
Social media, out the wazoo. But at the same time, it's bad because, say, you have a bad day at work and you got drunk and ranted about a whole bunch of crap on Facebook, you can get in trouble for that.
Sure.
Either through your workplace or people looking at your stuff. It's just, if you're a public figure and you just have one bad day and go off the deep end, it's...
Well, look at Brian Drusky.
terrible.
He made a joke about the protesting with the people on the streets. They were out there protesting about the black lives that were being taken by police officers, and people want to destroy his business, get him. Well, he can't get fired because he runs the business, but they're going after him so hard. And honestly,
they want him to go broke because I think what he did was so bad.
Yeah, and I don't know. It's just
because he made one comment.
People make one mistake and that's it in life. You're done.
You're
in this
done,
country.
and you should be homeless and living on welfare.
Unless you're Trump.
Right.
Trump can say whatever he wants. I think Trump was very accurate whenever he made a comment, and he said if he went out into the middle of the street and shot someone, that his supporters would still support him. And I actually think he's probably right.
I think I have to agree with you on that.
It's crazy, but...
he's got a cult following.
He does. It's kind of crazy. It's
interesting to watch, but at the same time, it is scary.
It is, yeah, but honestly, people will take things too far in this country, okay? It's...
Everybody has a bad day. That's the thing. We're all human.
Well, that, and then also when it comes to Trump, it's like, okay, there's a Congress, there's a Supreme Court. It's not like you just go in there and you're the dictator.
It's not like he's going to be able to change everything and kick Congress
Same thing with
out.
Sanders or anyone else, any other candidate
People
running.
forget how government actually works, and it's a three-ring circus.
Well, yeah.
Literally.
Yeah, and I mean, the people who are voting aren't necessarily the best and the brightest, so we'll just leave that there. But... yeah. Up next, we're going to bring Heather back with her weekly weather forecast here on River Talk on the River's Edge radio network. And then after that, Cats in Congress, and then we'll end the show on a serious note. So stay tuned. And then also, don't forget, while I'm doing my alsos, TuneIn Radio. If you listen to us on TuneIn Radio, you can actually purchase some of the great songs from the artists here on this network. So stay tuned for that. Check that out. TuneIn Radio. You can look up the River's Edge. We're also under local. If you scroll down to the internet stations, you'll find us there. But up next, Heather with our weekly weather forecast on the River's Edge radio network.
Hey, this is Lee Prisby from Claymore and broadcasting from Millvale Studios. You're listening to the River's Edge radio network.
All right, welcome back. We're here with Chief Meteorologist Heather Nevills, who has some good news, I think.
I have some good news.
Have some good news? All right.
Some neutral news. Not really bad news. So this week it's going to continue being above normal, which is great.
Mm-hmm.
So we're going to stick around in the 60s for most of the week, but we are going to cool down a little bit for the weekend, but only into the mid-50s. So we're still going to be just a little bit above normal temperatures, because normal temperatures this time of the year are around 47 degrees, and we're sticking in the 60s and 50s and 60s for most of our forecast period for this upcoming week. But you may have noticed it's been warm this past weekend, but Sunday kind of crummy, rain on and off. We're going to get the same deal for today. We're going to get the same deal for today, Monday. Overcast with a chance of scattered showers on and off throughout the day. High of 64 and a low of 56 in the evening, with overcast and humid with a few lingering showers overnight sticking around. There was a chance that there might be some rumbles of thunder, but I really don't think we're going to be that active for that kind of weather. I just think it's going to stay rain on and off. So we don't have to worry about anything severe this time of the year, since it is leaning towards more the spring pattern. Tuesday, mostly clouded and humid with a high of 68. And that evening, much of the same weather, mostly cloudy and humid as well, with a low of only 53. Wednesday, mostly cloudy in the early a.m. to mostly sunny as the day goes on, with a high of 72. I do believe Wednesday is going to be our warmest day for this week. And then that evening, a low of 48 with partly cloudy skies overnight. Thursday, mostly cloudy with showers on and off. Thursday is when our next system moves in. Right now that system is off the coast of Seattle, but Thursday is when it's going to come in around that time to our region. But showers on and off with a high of 60, so still warmer. Then that evening, showers tapering off, mostly cloudy for most of the evening with a low of 40 degrees. Friday, mostly cloudy, a bit cooler with only a high of 52. And that evening, a low of 32. For our weekend outlook, it's going to get a little bit cooler, especially from Friday morning onto Saturday. We might get a possible wintry mix beginning to move in. And then by later on Saturday morning into the afternoon, we're going to be seeing more of a rain coming through the region. On and off, I do think that's going to be a little bit widespread. And then Sunday is going to be dry with mostly cloudy skies. And of course, cloudiness throughout the whole weekend. So highs in the mid to upper 50s for the weekend and lows in the mid to upper 30s. So we're going to start off warm, peak our high at Wednesday at 72, and then kind of slowly go back down and rain on and off throughout the weekend. Monday, rain. Next system moves in late Wednesday into Thursday, early Thursday, so rain for Thursday. And then again, a little bit rain and maybe even a mix on Saturday morning early since it's going to be so cold. And then warming up to the 50s with rain through Saturday. So on and off showers, so that's typical spring for you. But it is going to be above normal temperatures in the 60s and even the 50s.
Nice. And the song you just heard, by the way, before our weekly weather forecast, that song is new from Cats in Congress, so we're excited about that. They're going to be up next. Don't forget to check them out at the Smiling Moose. Great band from Johnstown. Johnstown, they have some good music. People don't always realize the music that they have out in Johnstown just because it's in Johnstown, I guess. I don't know. It's out there. But the song you heard, it's called Are We Famous Yet? And that's from Cats in Congress. Great stuff, great music. It's really good stuff, right? I mean, crazy if you don't check this out. That's going to be the Smiling Moose, March 19th. Instead of me telling you about it, we'll bring them on now. This interview, we recorded it earlier in the week. It's been a crazy week for interviews. I had Zach Fehl earlier in the week. They were earlier in the week, both different days. I've been in and out of the studio. And actually with them, I kind of lucked out because I messaged them. I scheduled this interview for 9 in the morning on, was it a couple days ago, Friday. Well, I text them. I said, we're on for 9, or no, it's yesterday, because it was the St. Patrick's Day, right? Was that yesterday?
Yeah, yesterday was the parade.
Yeah, my days are all mixed up working overnight, so, which we'll get into on when we end the show on a serious note, but I had them scheduled for 9 in the morning, but I was thinking it was 9 p.m. I put in my phone 9 p.m. I messaged them and said, we're good for 9 p.m., right? Because I wanted to sleep in so bad. I was so tired. Well, no, it was 9 in the morning, so I ended up not sleeping much at all that day. So it was, as usual, one thing after another. But we're excited to have them. We were excited to have them here in the Millville studios here on River Talks. We're going to play that interview for you right now here on the River's Edge Radio Network. My guests in studio, they have a big release party coming up Saturday, March 19th, 5 p.m. at the Smiling Moose. We have Billy Lewis and James Kerwin of Cats in Congress.
Hello.
Hello. How are you guys doing today?
Great.
Tired.
You guys made it all the way up. They made the trek from Johnstown.
Yes.
Yeah.
So Flood City, good old Flood City.
Any excuse to get out of Johnstown.
You know, that was one of our first interviews, actually, on the original podcast. Was we interviewed somebody from Flood City Music Festival,
really?
and it was pretty sweet music festival you guys have going down there.
yeah.
It's
So
a good time.
yeah, you guys great band. I love listening to your guys' stuff. I was able to
Thank you.
check it out before the show, so we're yeah, so pretty good. Really great stuff. And I gotta ask, Cats in Congress, or do either of you have a political bent that you came across this name, or
I realize that every indie band name is basically just an animal in a place.
okay?
And I just originally we were going to be Bears in Congress, but that had like 50 likes on Facebook. And I really didn't want to. I didn't want
cease and desist letter. Right
I didn't want to. I didn't want to tread all over that. So, cats are fun. So cats.
But the Congress thing, there's no political interest at all.
No.
So you're not out there rallying for any particular candidate or.
Not Trump.
Not Trump, so anti-Trump.
I can't even say anything because I'm probably not going to vote.
Not going to vote, yeah. I mean, honestly, it gets to a point this election cycle where it's kind of one of those things, who do you vote for? It's kind of...
The best of a bad situation sort of deal.
It is, yeah. It's like on one hand you have Trump who... and I give him slack on the illegal immigration thing because I think people take him way out of context on that, but when it comes to the Muslim situation, you're not taking him out of context on that.
Yeah. Not so much.
Yeah. So, but on the other side, you have Hillary, who's probably going to win, and if you look up corruption in the dictionary, you see her big plasticky, clowny, grinning face right there. So moving on from Congress, I'm excited about this show you guys have on the 19th. Can you tell us a little bit about you guys, who you are, and about the EP that you're releasing?
All right. Well, we're Cats in Congress, obviously. We are a 4-piece now from Johnstown. We started back in 2014. Yeah, 14. I think it's what we wrote down on the paper.
Sounds right.
We're like pop punky to the early to mid 2000s pop punk, I'd say, when it was not as emo as it is now with all the really just sad, disturbing vocals that we listened to the whole way up. But it's like I said, we started out as a 3-piece between a couple friends. I think I'm actually the only original member left of the band. Gone through a couple rebrandings, a couple slight changes of genre, got a little more poppy.
Yeah.
Is that a difficult thing to go through when you change out band members? Is it hard to keep your fan base? Is it hard to grow?
We didn't have much of a fan base, so that wasn't that hard.
That wasn't hard. Yeah.
It's just annoying because there's like a 3-month period where I had to when James joined the band here, he joined about a year ago. He joined I gave him a week to learn like 40 minutes worth of music for that show.
We got a big show at Stage AE. You want to play? Yeah, sure. Okay, here's all the stuff.
So in like a 3-month period, I had to teach like 3 guitarists and like 2 bassists.
Yeah.
All our songs, and then redo it, and and that was just annoying within itself. But besides that, it wasn't
well.
It wasn't much of a change, honestly.
I guess it's difficult trying to teach your original stuff because you can't just hand them like it's a cover song. There's tabs all over the internet. Like you actually have to sit down and.
Well, I'm sure it also does change, even if you try to teach them the new song, because different people bring in different personalities, different styles, everything else to the band. And I'm sure that's kind of an exciting thing for you guys as well, because you kind of get to offer something different and something new than what you've done before.
Yeah, I'd say so. It's James has brought in some stuff. He's written some new stuff over top of some of the older songs we've written, which I think is
slight changes, goofy. Yeah,
it's been good additions. I think.
Yeah.
Can talk to me a little bit about the EP. What's on the EP? What are you excited about to kind of share to people that you're going to share to them on the 19th at the Smiling Moose?
Oh, well, it's a 5-song EP recorded by our friend Corey Perot, who actually lives
not too far from
here. Like 10-15 minutes from here.
Okay.
Yeah.
Who does he work? Does he do it himself?
Did it all by himself.
Okay,
yeah.
nice.
And Brad Brunazzi, I can't pronounce his last name. He'll probably be
Something
very upset if he sees this.
Oh.
He's in the band Arcane Haven.
Okay.
A local band. He did all the mixing and mastering. It's just, like I said, 5 songs. I think we recorded over a year and a half, kicked people out, reformed the band, re-recorded everything.
Took a little bit.
The album title, We Spent All Our Money on This EP, is just 1,000% true. But yeah, I think our live show has gone up to par with the recordings, how the recordings sound. So I think anybody that comes out to check it out is going to be at least hopefully pleasantly, not even surprised, but just enjoying.
It'll be a
the
good
show.
time.
Yeah,
be a good time.
What kind of onstage performers are you guys? What different bands kind of have a different presence?
Billy is.
I'm sad. On
He's
stage.
a showman. I guess would be the word. He's like doing like flips off of drum kits and stuff. It's very.
So this is like a real.
He's honestly it's dynamic watching, like, because I'm kind of like on the stage. I'm like I can't top it, but
sure.
So it's always like exciting to see what he's gonna do next, and there's always that like little voice and be like, what if he hurts himself? Like we're gonna stop everything.
I have fallen off stage and almost broken my ankle a couple times, which was not fun at all. But
he puts it all out there, though.
But I mean, between the like there's a stark contrast between me and Jake.
Oh, Jake, the bassist.
He just stands there, just real
just
stone
like
face,
he's a mountain.
doesn't move at all. Just the polar opposites on stage. It's always a good time though.
So when you come to see the performance March 19th at the Smiling Moose, you get to see Billy put his life on the line.
Oh yeah,
just to entertain you. So feel
regular Daredevil.
Your fans got to feel like really special about that, right? I mean, it's
I hope so.
This could be the last Cats in Congress concert. Billy could just bite the dust,
and you could say that like every concert.
Exactly.
I mean, that's like a good selling
it's a draw.
point. Yeah.
Every show could be our last.
And they're raising the ticket prices right now on River Talk to cover the liabilities.
$11 to get in.
And you're not gonna like do any flips in studio now, are you?
I'm in skinny jeans. I don't know how well that's.
Embarrassing for everybody.
Today. So, tell us about the show. I mean, you have some interesting people. One thing I saw, you have Shadows of Society.
Yeah.
They're going to be at the performance, and they're on our network, riversedgepgh.com, powered by NJL WebTech, and also on our TuneIn radio station. So, and they're a great group, but they're very different from you guys. It's a very different group.
They're a little heavier than us, to say the least. But we played with them a couple times in the past. Cody has always just been a great guy. He actually goes to school with me and James. I see him around campus.
Yeah,
a good bit. He's
because we actually had a hard time getting in touch with them because originally, we both wanted to make this work, but my business partner was like, no, we got to meet people in person. Can't do anything in the mail. And I'm like, I'm having a hard time getting this because he's out in IUP. And we finally were able to connect, and she finally relented. I broke her down, and like I said, look, I'm not getting people. So we allowed the mailing, and then we got them on. But definitely a good group. We love having them on here. And did you pick them in particular because they're different, or?
He actually sent me a Facebook message, which is how pretty much everything is done with bands anymore. But yeah, he just sent me a Facebook message. I think I might have sent him a message to see if he wanted to come to the show, and he asked if we still needed bands, and just we let him hop on right away.
Yeah, definitely. That's awesome. We've Billy and James of Cats in Congress here in studio on River Talk on the River's Edge Radio Network. Being part of this organization now that you guys are on the station now, that was actually we teased that a little bit on our River Talk Extra. We said we're going to try and arm wrestle them into joining the station and getting them on the network because we love the music. What do you think something like the River's Edge does for local music? Do you think that this is something that could help, I don't know, bring people to the scene? Because I always see that there's so many people, they don't, it actually is kind of stunning. If you look behind you, there's different music festivals. The Strip District Music Festival, for example, last year had over 150 bands, comedians, and artists, and people would say, there's no local music in Pittsburgh. We can't find any local music in Pittsburgh. Where is the local music? It's not like it used to be. Well, I don't know what else needs to be done.
People not looking. I think something like this, the people that will watch these local radio, local TV, stuff like that, they're the people that are going to go to the shows. So I think stuff like this is really important to keeping that community, that spirit alive, because Like it's a very good way to find out about what's going on locally and in your town. So
and what it comes down to really is any people that I always talk to, oh, do you want to go to a local show? I don't really know any of the bands.
That's the idea.
This is how you get to know the bands. You gotta either look them up online, see what they're about. I'm sure they have a demo or some kind of.
Well, that kills me. How do you expect to know local bands if you're not willing to go?
Yeah.
And I don't understand why people always want to hear the same music. That's one thing that I never understood. I mean, sure, it's nice to hear Come On Eileen comes on the radio with me, and that's when I'm blasting the radio, eardrums bursting because that's one of my favorite songs. But
But if you had to listen to it for the rest of your life,
yeah, I like to expose myself to new music and hear new things, and to listen to the same stuff. I mean, especially on like traditional radio nowadays, you hear the same song every hour.
Yeah.
And I know, like personally, there's songs that I liked when I first heard them, and I have come to hate them and despise them because I've heard them so much. And there's one particular talk program that was like a mix of talk and music, and I actually hated the music aspect of it because you heard the same stuff. You could actually predict the next song that was coming up because it was the same song every single week.
Jeez.
And so I don't know. Like, to me, is that people need to expose themselves to new music, and I
absolutely
don't understand how you can grow even as a person if you're not going to expose yourself to new forms of
things,
music.
Ideas,
and
yeah, it's ridiculous.
So where have you guys played besides the Smiling Moose? So you guys play in Pittsburgh often? Or?
Yeah, we try to play in Pittsburgh as much as we can.
It's definitely
we played
scene that's closest to us.
Yeah, we played the Roboto Project a few times.
Yeah.
We played Stage AE.
Stage AE
was his first show.
Really? That's cool. Where did you play, inside or outside?
Yeah, we played the club inside.
Yeah, I really liked that. That was great.
Where else? We played Club Diesel once or twice.
Diesel. That was that the
how was that? I imagine that would be weird to play at Diesel.
It was pretty cool, actually.
Was it?
It's a really nice setup. Like, the stage is like elevated. It's pretty.
So they
big.
had you guys set up for a band, because like when I imagine Diesel, I think like the club atmosphere, and I'm thinking that would be a hard crowd to really capture because they're just in their zone and grinding and everything else.
I think the show we played was like an anti-prom, anti-formal,
it was
something
called,
like that.
It's called Informal.
Informal.
It's
that's
a thing.
what it
It's
is.
a show. Mosh Pit Promotions puts on like every. I think they put on.
I think they put up on one, not two.
Yeah.
Soon or not
too
far
long
away
ago,
from
yeah.
sometime
they put it on every like 2 or 3 a year, I think. They're actually who's sponsoring our EP show too. They're great people, but like they had it set up specifically for bands. I think there's like 7 or 8 bands.
Yeah,
that played
there
just,
were
like,
a good
throughout
amount.
The day.
Yeah,
it was a good time.
It was, yeah, a lot of really good musicians there that day.
Yeah,
I was impressed.
So when did Cats in Congress form? When did you guys form the band? The original band.
I think it was November of 2014.
14. Okay,
Yeah.
so it's a
been
couple years now.
Yeah, it's been a while.
So what's the weirdest venue you've played in?
Oh wait, is it? What is?
Which one are you thinking?
Dead Horse Cantina.
Oh,
I didn't play there, but I've heard the story of.
Yeah,
that just sounds like an interesting venue. What?
That's actually in Pittsburgh.
Okay,
really?
Yeah, we opened for Saving Abel there.
Okay, where is that at in Pittsburgh?
I don't even remember, honestly.
I gotta Google this. Dead Horse Cantina. Tell me, why was it weird?
Someone offered me meth.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Okay.
someone offered me meth. Someone tried to take our drummer into the bath. 2 girls tried to take our drummer into the bathroom. Remember.
Was it Forrest? Or was
Yeah,
it
that was
someone else?
Forrest.
It was Forrest. Wow.
It was a very committed relationship at the time.
Oh, it's permanently closed now. It was in McKees Rocks, so it was just outside the city, technically.
Okay.
See, people in Pittsburgh are like really weird about that. Like,
Yeah.
like I live in Millville. Okay, I technically don't live in the city. I live closer to downtown. Like, I can walk downtown in less than an hour. I could bike ride downtown Pittsburgh in 15 minutes. But people will snub me, like, yo, you don't live in the city, you live in Millville. But, people who live in Squirrel Hill live, like, 3 times the distance to downtown.
Yeah,
but
that's Pittsburgh.
That's the city, yeah.
Johnstown's almost the same way, except exactly the opposite.
Exactly like that, but not at all.
It's like the polar opposite of that. Like, I live almost like 30-40 minutes outside Johnstown.
Yeah.
And if anyone asks, like, oh, do you live in John? It's like a real small city, but where do you live? South. Oh, you live in Johnstown? Sure, dude. I live closer to Altoona than Johnstown, but sure, I live in Johnstown.
Well, it's bizarre because in Pittsburgh, I mean, I grew up in Westmoreland County, and right in North Huntington, and that's really. Allegheny County should merge with the city. It should all be one Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
And it really makes sense that way. Like, where I lived in North Huntington was really a suburban area. We considered ourselves from Pittsburgh. Like, if we went out of town and people said, hey, where are you from? We didn't say, oh, we're from North Irwin, because they're just going to scratch their head and look at you like, what the hell is North Irwin? Because North Irwin, literally, the entire town is a hill. I mean, it's the smallest town ever. They don't even have a gas station or a convenience store. So, we say we're from Pittsburgh. I started working downtown, actually in the Strip District, and I told people I'm from, North Huntington, and everyone goes, oh, you're from out in the country. You're from out in the country. Like, I'm out there in, like, Hickville with, like, cows.
Middle of
and,
nowhere.
Yeah, tumbleweeds going through, and it's like, no, this is, like, suburbia. This is like almost like Stepford Wives like vision. And everyone's like, oh, you live out in the country. And then, I moved from Jeanette, where I was living at the time, to Robinson. And Robinson's Pittsburgh, right? I mean, it's got a 152 zip code. According to the post office, that's the city. So, I tell people I moved to Robinson, and the people at work goes, oh, you moved all the way out there.
What?
Like, all the way out there. Yeah, like, without traffic, I can get downtown in 15 minutes. How is that all the way out there?
As we make our 2-hour drive in.
Yeah, unless you, like, live in the city, people act like you live, like, this, like, far-off place.
There's no middle ground.
I mean,
yeah, it's...
depending on when you ask, like, some of our friends from Johnstown, though, too, I'm sure they would say, oh, yeah, we're from Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
Sure, yeah, because it's the regional city.
Exactly.
It's Western Pennsylvania.
But especially, when I can drive to the park and ride and get downtown in a half hour, I mean, that's... you know what I mean? Like, all of Allegheny County is probably smaller than New York City, so it's just, it's just mind-boggling. It's just mind-boggling to me how people... And really, it's interesting. Pittsburgh originally was growing. Like, the north side was its own separate city.
Oh, really?
That was actually, if you go to the north side, you'll see things called Allegheny. They'll call the area Allegheny. And the reason why is it was originally Allegheny City. Pittsburgh annexed that city, and they were annexing different communities around the city. So Millville would have been annexed, but the state actually came in and said, no more annexing, which I don't know why, because honestly,
I mean, at that point,
getting back to Congress, since you guys are the cats in Congress, if you are a larger city, you actually qualify for more federal funds. So it actually would help the entire area out.
That makes sense.
If it was merged. Yeah. So have you ever been to Congress? Have you ever been to Harrisburg or?
Actually, I went to Shippensburg for a year, so I lived right out there. The closest Guitar Center was actually in Harrisburg, so I used to go down there a good bit.
Okay, have you ever been inside the Capitol?
No.
Oh, you got to check it out. It's actually one of the more beautiful capitals.
It is nice.
Yeah,
I did Scholastic quiz in high school because I'm a nerd. Nerd. And we made like the state something or another. I can't remember now, but yeah, it was hosted in like I think it was the Senate building or something there. It is. You walk in and it's like, wow, look, it's giant domes and just really, really cool.
Yeah, it's impressive. They they waste a lot of money there. They actually have a house barber that only cuts the hair of Congress members.
Really?
Yes, House members specifically.
Isn't the Barbin
Gap?
Yeah, Mr. Barbin.
Oh.
His dad. I think his dad's in the state senate actually. He's a state
Well,
representative.
he would not be allowed to use the house barber because he's not a House member. He's a Senate member.
Dang it!
He's not allowed to use the house barber. No, absolutely not.
Cats in Congress, showing off our political knowledge.
Yes, right there. So, how do you guys fund your band? Do you borrow money from China?
Hopefully. If they would give us money, I would take the money.
So you're in debt to China.
We're all in debt to China.
Yes, that is true. That is true.
Once dictator Trump takes over, we won't have to worry about our debt to China. So
he has promised to cut a deal. He's promised to make a good deal.
He wrote the art of the deal.
And actually, you know what? In his defense, he is right about that. We always lose. We always lose to everyone. I mean, they wipe the floor with us. I mean, hell, even look at the Iran deal. They had hostages over in Iran, and we didn't even get our own people back in the Iran deal. I mean, we just lose to everyone. It's awful. It's actually kind of depressing if you think about it. I mean, you have hostages over there, and you're a first world nation dealing with this like third world nation, and you can't even get your people back. I mean,
imagine you're the hostage. You're like, oh, they'll get us out of here.
Benjamin Franklin's probably rolling in his grave.
Not happy.
Yeah. So I'm excited. So tell us a little bit more about the show. Kind of like a last push. Why should people come out? Why should they see the show? Who are some of the other bands playing there?
Shadows of Society's playing, obviously.
Yes.
We have
Cameron
Taylor's playing. Yeah, Cameron Taylor. He's an acoustic guy. He's a real cool guy.
Nice.
I think there's another acoustic act on there.
I'm totally not.
Define Irony? Are they still on the bill?
Yeah, Define Irony's on the bill. They're real cool guys too. Ryan McMahon. He's in that band. He's done photos for us before. He's a real nice guy. They're a solid band all around.
Yeah, honestly.
And Joey Connor is the other one. There's my phone.
That's nice. Yep, iPhone shattered.
I dropped this phone seriously like 5
That's the nice thing about
times
iPhones. They are really like robust.
Yeah, it's always the small drops though. Like I'll drop it on my couch.
Like
I'll throw it on my couch later, and the screen's gonna pop out
for some reason.
Well, you know what? Like I had an iPhone, and I used to be when my job in the Strip District, I was a delivery driver, and I was in a box truck, and I always would put the phone right here, so I could like at stop signs, kind of like look
Yeah,
down to see what's going on. So which I know it's big taboos. Looking at the phone. I mean, I didn't do it while I was driving. I was at the red lights, and I think that's perfectly okay. And I don't care what anyone says. I don't really care what the cats in Congress say. We need to pass laws that say, you're at the stop sign, you're just sitting there wasting your time, you can look at your email. I mean, it's not like you're doing it while you're driving.
Yeah.
People are going to honk at you because people are assholes.
Down the highway or something like that.
Yeah, those people are assholes. But honestly, you're sitting at the red light. Now, if you're like too big of a douche to like pay attention to the light and keep looking up, then you should get fined. But
if you wait more than 2 seconds, I'm sure someone's going to beep at you.
Oh, they will. People are assholes
especially
in the city.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, no, I would set it here and I would get out of the box truck and I would scoot it and it would fall. But like the box, have you ever been in a box truck? Like you're high up. It's almost like a tractor trailer. It's not quite as high, but it's like much higher than the average truck you could buy, or even like a bigger truck. You're high off the ground, so it's dropping like 4 feet every time onto cement. And I dropped it like more times than I could count. And eventually, I must have dropped it 15, 20 times like that before it finally got a small crack. And then eventually the screen shattered. But that was the only time where I couldn't complain.
Yeah.
Because I beat the hell out of that thing, and it never had a case. I never even had a case on the thing.
That's
and it lasted that long.
I did used to have an outer box on this thing, but that actually...
Yeah, I got armor on this one.
I broke my outer box off.
Oh, really? This one's starting to break. It's cracking here. But you know what? OtterBox has gotten better. Like, look at this. It's slim.
Yeah.
Look at this. Very good. OtterBox.
Yeah, compared
OtterBox
to
was funny.
the box that it used to be.
Yeah, it used to be. Like, I remember when I had an iPhone, it like tripled the size of the phone. It was like holding a brick.
Put it in your pocket.
No, yeah. Like, now this is like, real slim. It doesn't even have the thing around it. So, OtterBox, riversedgepgh.com. Brian Crawford at riversedgepgh.com. Send us
give us money.
Some information. Yeah, we'll be a sponsor right here. Good plug right for the OtterBox. It really works. It really does. I mean, I could like chuck this thing across the room. In fact, I will chuck it across the room. It's completely fine.
Your screen came out. Dang it.
That's not looking.
That's not looking good now. Yeah.
Cut.
Oh, well. So yeah, but don't throw your phones at the stage at the concert. Just go and enjoy. Let Billy do all of the dangerous work
Antics.
and don't try his antics at home. Yes. So looking forward to it, guys. It's going to be March 19th, 5 p.m. at the Smiling Moose, which is right in the south side. So go check it out. And then if you're down in Johnstown, I'm sure you guys play down there as well.
Yeah,
sometimes.
Yeah. So
not so much recently.
They don't like original music.
Yeah,
they don't like original music in Johnstown. How do they get away with the Flood City Music Festival then, or is that all covers?
A lot of covers.
And I don't know. Yeah,
if you're willing to cover AC/DC and Led Zeppelin for a couple hours,
I will cover Led Zeppelin.
Are you guys playing Freebird?
At
the event.
He has.
He has. Okay.
It got to the point people just yell at it, like in a couple hours, like play Freebird. Like I'm actually gonna learn Freebird one day and
play it.
Now people are like, "Wow, you actually did it."
Yeah, that's pretty badass. But no, that's what we like. We like the original music here, so keep that going and really good stuff from Cats in Congress. This is Billy and James. I'm Brian for the River's Edge. Seriously though, you need to check them out. That's going to be a really great show, really great band, and what was really cool about them is they actually reached out to us. Most of the bands that we contact on the network are bands that I've contacted. I've listened to their stuff, and I've said, hey, we need to get them on, let's check them out. Cats in Congress actually contacted us, so that was kind of a cool thing, but definitely check them out the 19th at the Smiling Moose. As always, we like to end the show on a serious note, and I just got to talk about scheduling, trying to manage everything. You're working a full-time job, you're doing this, which is almost like a full-time job as well, and nobody's ever able to come and record on Sundays. This week, all of our interviews were all different hours of the day, and it's been a little bit mind-boggling. Poor Cats on Congress, they were supposed to, they did interview at 9 a.m. I guess poor me, I was thinking it was 9 p.m. My sleep schedule's all kinds of messed up. And there's going to be a better way. There's going to be a better way. I've been scheduling things. I've been trying to be intelligent in the way that I schedule my shows and my interviews and my meetings. But between that and work, it's just become insane. So, I don't know. I don't really know what the answer is. I don't know. This isn't really a very fun serious note, but it's something that's been bothering me. So if you have any suggestions on how I am
how I'm able to manage my life and try to piece my life together amidst all of the craziness. Any small business owners out there, please Twitter me at RiverTalkPGH. It's the first time I need to start advertising my Twitter more. I don't advertise the Twitter as much. Of course, you can always follow River's Edge PGH for the best in local music, but my personal Twitter page, and it's also the Twitter page of the show, is RiverTalkPGH. So please hit me up there. You can also email me, Brian Crawford at riversedgepgh.com. If you have any suggestions, please, I'm at your mercy. I need to know how to manage this because Saturday was the one day I was supposed to sleep, and I ended up not sleeping. Then I was supposed to be somewhere at 5 p.m., but I crashed because of the interview and everything else, and it's just, I need some sort of order in my life. Help! Help! That's it for me. Again, stay tuned on Wednesday afternoon or Wednesday morning, and then on demand later that night we have Bold Nights Out with our friends from Bold Pittsburgh. You can find them on Twitter at BoldPGH. But great information on what to do throughout the weekend, where to go, what to see, what to check out. You can read their blog at Bold Pittsburgh, and they have all sorts of great information. So check that out. Check out Funny Money Thursday mornings, and then also Awesome Cast Thursday mornings after Funny Money. The master of the Millville Shore, will bring myself to the Awesome Cast studio, Sorgatron Media, and I will give you my favorite technology item of the week, so stay tuned for that. All of that and more, as always, 24 hours here, 24 hours local music, only local music, original music here at the River's Edge Radio Network, and then also stay tuned next week. We're going to have Claymore, Lee Prisby of Claymore, in studio. He will be performing at Heavy Metal Monessen. So good stuff there. So don't forget to check out Heavy Metal Monessen. That's going to be April the 23rd. It's going to start at 1 p.m. Stay tuned to riversedgepgh.com for all of the latest information about Heavy Metal Monessen, all of your interviews conducted here on River Talk, River Talk Extra, and more. All of that available at riversedgepgh.com. Just click the Heavy Metal Monessen banner on the top right corner. So check out that. Cats in Congress, March 19th at the Smiling Moose for their CD release party. Great bands there, as well as Shadows of Society, who you can hear every day here at riversedgepgh.com, powered by NGL WebTech and on the TuneIn Radio app. I'm Brian Crawford. Thanks for Heather Nevills for coming in, and again, Cats in Congress, Zach Fehl of 91.9 WCAL, all of that, and stay tuned. Listen to his show Sunday nights, the currently untitled Metal Show, for more Heavy Metal Monessen news as well. I'm Brian Crawford on River Talk. Thank you for listening to the River's Edge Radio Network, your voice, Pittsburgh's voice, for local music.